Now let us continue with how to connect to different data sources. In the last session we discussed about the comma separated value files. And what is comma separated value files? Each columns and the values in each column, right, it will get separated from one another. I'm just opening the Power BI desktop. I did not talk. Wait for some time. Okay, I just repeat this one more time. So commas, I was talking about comma separated value files. Okay, and so in the real-time scenario, okay, you will receive data from different sources. Don't expect, let's say you join with Wipro or Infosys. Their customer is, let's say, Walmart or Amazon customers, right? They have outsourced a project to Infosys or Accenture. So in that case, what they will do, right? Once you join with Accenture, and they will talk to their customer and give you their systems login credentials. You need to log into their system. And then the data, right? So they'll give you the different data, different types of data. Like they'll give you data in the form of Excel files, or they'll give some data in CSV files, or they might give you data in JSON files. Right? Different types of files. Data is very much important. Without data, you cannot do any analysis. Data is required, but the data is available in different types: comma separated values, or Excel file, or JSON files, or Parquet file, or Hadoop file, or SQL Server database, right? So likewise, the data is available in different places. Now we will explore how we can connect to different sources. If the file is CSV file, you just click on the get data and click on text CSV, text or CSV, and it will open you. And I'll just, for example sake, let me just say salesw04.csv. This is the file which I already uploaded it in my GitHub link. You can refer the link which I sent it in the chat window a while back, and download all the files. Okay, click on. So the question is, there are some students, they ask this question also: how do I download the file from GitHub? Look here, just go here and GitHub, press enter. This is the link I shared with you all in the chat window. Note it down, save it, so that you don't have to ask me again and again, right? So if you save it, that's the whole idea. And look here. So this one brings up this page. This is where you can find Excel file, .csv file, .csv comma separated value files, Excel file. All right, and you will find .pbx. PBX are Power BI files, okay, the report files, right? And you will find JSON files also here. Simple way, what you do is you just look at the code here in this thing, click on code, drop down, you will find download zip. When you click on this download zip, all these files will get downloaded as a zip file. One way it is good, so because this zip file will have all the files which I uploaded recently also. It will have all the things. So you can also do it side by side. See, when I train, look here, the sales W04 file, that is what I did it, right? Get data, click on text CSV, sales W04, that is what my file name, that's a CSV file. Select that, click on load, this one will get loaded. So the next step is, we have discussed about how to do the data transformation. Click on the transform data. So there are some issues are there with this data. Okay, here you click on transform ribbon. Click on transform ribbon. Here what you do is, use first row as it is. Click on this, use first row as it is, you select it. This is what we discussed, right, in the last session. I don't know how many of you tried. Can you please type it in the chat window? So before you attend my session, make sure that you have completed all the tasks, or what are the things that the demo, as per the demo I demonstrated, right? Try it out. You need to complete it. Otherwise, it will be utterly waste. Look here, I clicked on this one, use first row as it is 2 times. So row ID, order ID, everything is available here. And only problem is, I know very well already, right? There is a problem with the sales data type, the column data type. This is a number data type. It's not a number. It should be a it is not a text data type. It is a number data type. Here I put dollar and I did not put anything. So this is one way of removing the dollar. Replace dollar by null. In Excel, this is how we do, right? How do you replace the values? Same thing I did it here. I just replace dollar by empty string, nothing. So what will happen? Dollar will go away. Next thing is, when I scroll down here, so I can see NA here. Replace the values. Okay, so I'm going to use the replace values again. So NA, you type it here. Replace with 0. That's it. Click on OK. Right, 0. That's all. So the next step is, click on ABC and click on decimal number. So now smooth. Okay, all the data types, all the number data types are in the relevant, it got assigned with the relevant data type. See, this is the decimal, this is the integer data type. Discount is also decimal. Fine, now we are all set. I'm going to click on file and close and apply. So whatever the steps that we carried out in the transform data, it will get applied. Fine. So now next we will take a look at how do we load the other data types. Other data types, for example, here I'll just show you the SQL Server. Okay, SQL. All of you have installed SQL Server, I guess, right? I click, look here, it is asking me the server name and the database name. And then the connectivity mode, whether it is an import or direct query. So here your server database, right? So look here, you just go to the start menu and SQL Server, SSMS. You just type SSMS. SQL, what is SSMS? SQL Server Management Studio. So what does it do? What can we do? Vishal or Tulasi, can you tell me what does it do? What is the use of SSMS? What is SSMS? I discussed it, right? Let me just check, because once again, because in the interest of time, we don't want to say, listen very carefully. SQL Server, we have installed 2 softwares to work with the SQL Server. The one is, one second. This is not working. SQL Server, and I'll just write Microsoft. You need to search it in the internet very specifically like this. Lot of servers are there, okay? SQL database are there. You need to install Microsoft Server and then SSMS. What is SSMS? It is an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. It is the front end, okay? Integrated Development Environment. So using SSMS only, we will write the SQL queries because it is pretty simple. It has code completion facility, everything. Yes, I remember I told all the things. You are not at all reviewing it, right? What can I do? So, but this is the front end. SSMS is an interface to your SQL Server. First, you need to install the SQL Server, and then you can use it. Now the question is, can't I, write the SQL query? You can do it, but with this, if you do it, it will be pretty simple. You don't have to have, or you don't have to remember or memorize the SQL syntaxes. Okay, to create the table, what command should I use? You don't have to do it. It is, just if you point and click on it with the create table, it will automatically generate the script. Okay, so now to connect to the SQL server, you need to the SSMS. This is the front end. Okay, you got it? That's all. If you remember this much, that's more than sufficient. And let me just open the SSMS now. You need to grasp so fast to see how to connect to the SQL server. So here we don't have to open SSMS or SQL server to connect to the Power BI. Instead, what we do is within this Power BI desktop, you have an option called SQL server. When you click on this, it will ask you which SQL server. In real time scenario, in the cloud, everything is cloud. In the real time scenario, the cloud, right? A lot of things are there. Lot of databases will be there here and there. So let's say if you work for Walmart, they have so many databases created for different purposes. For finance, they have a separate database. For CRM, they have a separate database. Different database. Which database you want to connect in order to develop the reports? Customer has given you they've given you the reporting requirement. These are the reports needs to be created. In order to create those reports, which database you need to connect it? Which server you need to connect? Which database you need to connect it? So what is a server? SQL server. First you need to install SQL server, right? Look here. Here you don't have to do anything. Simply click on connect. Once this one opens, first step is you need to install Power SQL server. Next step is SQL Server Management Studio. So now you need to open the SQL Server Management Studio because I don't remember the server name. So I just click on it one more time. Look here, the server name, it is there, right? Right click on it and copy it. Okay, and that's all. The next step is you just come here. This is what my server name. So in Walmart, if you see, they have hundreds and hundreds of servers are running. SQL server itself. Let's assume that way. Okay. How do you know which SQL server you need to specify the server name and some name. Okay. You need to ask the customer, Walmart customers, hey, what is the server name? Which server can I connect? They'll give you this one. And which database do I need to connect? So you don't have to select this one. If they give the database, you can type for example, the database name is retail. You can type the retail database name. In my case, I'll show you here one second. What databases I have it here. I just click on it here. Just on the left side of the databases, when you click on it, it will get expanded. If you see here, let us see what is sales database. This is my sales database. When you click on this, the tables. See, this is my database name, this is my tables, and okay, this is my server. Okay, please watch carefully, don't get distracted. Okay, so look here. So in this database sales, this many number of tables are there. What are tables? Tables are like your Excel sheet. You just think that way. Okay, so the data are stored in the rows and columns. That is what your table. Okay, so all these tables will hold. So we create meaningfully to store the data in different tables. For example, in the category related data, we need to store it in a table called dim category. You don't have to worry about the naming convention. They will tell you. So these are the tables are available. In the category table, you will find the category related data. Customer table will find customer related data, and so on. Now you know the server name. To connect to the SQL Server, see, the CSV file is pretty simple to connect to the CSV file, but SQL Server also very simple. You need to specify the server name. What is the server name? This is what my server name. This is what my server name. And then just I'll go. So next one is it's asking for database. In this server, so many databases are like Finance Data Mart and Adventure Works. Likewise, more than one databases are there in then this single SQL Server itself. See, SQL Server itself available, in the bigger organization, multiple SQL servers will be there. In this case, we have connected to only one SQL Server. In each SQL Server can have more than one database, and each database can have more than one tables. Sorry, more than one database. Yes, Advait. Oh, you joined. Good. So, what is your question? So, you may have more than one SQL Server. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'll unmute yourself. Yeah, tell me, Advait, what is your question?
So what if we need to connect to Oracle database?
You need to connect to Oracle. Okay, so you need to see here. Yeah, you need to select the Oracle connection string here. So if you go
So the
here,
procedure remains the same, sir?
yeah, the same method. SQL server name, database, connected. Everything is same, but the database server name and all, you need to get it from your customer. Same technique. That's all. Yeah, good that you asked this question. See, this is a SQL Server database. Likewise, if you want to connect to Oracle database, you need to ask your customers, right? So sometimes what will happen? Some tables, some database are available in SQL Server, some data are available in Oracle. So in that case, you need to connect to SQL to bring in the SQL tables data into your Power BI, and Oracle database also you need to connect to this. Whatever the database they gave it to you, you need to connect there and bring in those tables into your Power BI desktop. Okay, but let's not get digressed at this moment.
Yeah.
Let us because I have non-IT people are there in this batch. I don't want them to overwhelm at this moment. Let us limit our thought process around this only. So what you are saying is correct. Okay, Advait, I agree with you. So you may have more than one SQL. Similarly, you have more than one Oracle databases will also be there in your customer side. Okay, and each SQL Server or Oracle database, you can have more than one database, like a sales, finance. See, look here in the sales, we have multiple tables over there. Each data, this sales database, in this case, sales database have more than one table in it. Finance mart also have more than one. This is the fundamental thing, you should be aware of it. Okay, it's something like each state will have a name. Tamil Nadu, yes, Tamil Nadu. So Andhra Pradesh, right? State name. Each state can have more than one district, right? And each district can have more than one city or town, something like that, right? Same thing is applicable here also. Just it may be a stupid analogy. You just think that way, okay? Just for you to remember, because I have non-IT people are also there. They did not join, many of them. In the interest of recording this one, right, let them also be benefit of this one, because of since you raised that one. Good. So now the next step is, yes, I just go and specify which database. Tulasi, can you tell me which database we can connect it? So I was talking about sales, right? I just go and type sales here, database name, okay? And data connectivity mode, there are two options available. I'll talk about this little later. When you click on advanced option, timeout in minutes, and you can specify the SQL query itself. Okay, if you know the SQL query, you can specify the SQL query so that the output of the query will be loaded into your Power BI desktop. What is the output of the query? It is a data again. Okay, so this we will see it later, advanced options and all. Okay, let us not jump into the advanced topics in the very first day itself. Okay, regarding the SQL Server topic. Okay, so the SQL Server name, and this is the database. But the default connectivity mode is import. But whenever you connect to database, especially the volume of the data is very high, we use direct query. That we will go step by step. First, I'm going to click on OK with this setup. Okay, I just entered the SQL Server name, database name, import is the default thing. I just click on OK. Let us see how much time it takes to connect to SQL Server, Power BI desktop. Okay, how long the Power BI desktop takes to connect to the SQL Server. So you don't have to open this for you to understand, right? So I just opened that one. Look here, it is trying to load all the tables that are part of the sales database. Look here, it loaded all the tables that are available in the sales database. How do I cross check that? Go to the SQL Server Management Studio. In the sales database, you will find all the course, department, dim cat. Look here, course, department, dim category. Whatever things you see to the table, the same thing, things are available here. Here, what I do is, I just select one or two tables for you people to understand. So the dim location and sales fact. So now I selected these 4 tables. So this is for data preview window on the right side. Look here. So the last one I kept the cursor here, dim category, right? I clicked on this one. Hence the dim category related data. What data is available or stored in this table? You can see it here itself. This is called your preview data preview window. So what are the columns are there in this table? Dim category, we have 2 columns, cat ID and category column. Each column what value we have it, we can see it here. Fine, we are done with. Similarly, if you want to see the dim customer table data here itself, you click on this. Look here. So in this table we have how many columns are there? Tulasi, 5 columns are there. How many rows are there? 6 rows are there. Excluding the column header. These are called your column header. Customer ID, first name. These are the column header. So these are the values. Okay. And if you look at the bottom here, you have 3 buttons here: load, transform data, and cancel. So we are not going to click on other 2. We will start with load this data. Now when I click on load, what will happen? All the 5 tables which I chose will get loaded into Power BI desktop in import mode. Now it is connecting, my Power BI desktop is connecting to this SQL Server. So in this I selected location, category, sales fact, and one more table, right? Or 4 tables. Let's see. Dim category, dim customer, customer table, right? So dim customer, dim category, and sales fact, those tables, right? Customer, dim customer. So dim customer, dim category, sales fact, and location, right? Dim location. These 4 tables. I don't need all these tables to be loaded into my Power BI desktop. The reason is to generate my report, I have the data available in this 4 tables, so that is more than sufficient. Look here, dim category, dim customer, dim location, sales fact. These 4 tables are sufficient. Hence I selected only these 4 tables out of all the other tables in the sales database. Okay, all the data tables got loaded here. The sales W04, for this the source system is .csv file. The rest of them are the tables we imported from database. It is these 4 are sales fact, dim location, all the dim, right? So these are all from SQL Server, not a CSV file. Okay, good. So next what we will do is we will click on the model. The model window also you can see the table name, column name. But if you see here something like this, there is some, one second. So look here, this line, right? This is called your relationship link. The moment you import the table or any files, when you go to the data model, model view, this is your model view, you will find all the tables, and in case of any relationship exists between these two tables, the link get created automatically. Okay, you don't have to create the link. That means, it's something like one to many relationship. This one we will see it later. What is one to one, many to many, how we can address many to many issues, everything. The next one is the data view. So this is where you can see each and every table's data here. So dim category, dim customer, dim location, sales fact, each table's data, you can see it here. Next one is the report canvas. This is where you can create your report. You can put all your visuals here. For example, if I want to create the chart here, let me just do one thing. I clustered column chart. If I click on this, column chart is available here, and sales fact, here the sales amount, and then category is like this is my category wise sales. If I want to see what is the sales by each category, look here the category, but here it is not doing the filtering correctly. All the okay, the problem is there is no relationship exists between the category table and this one. There is some issue. Let us check here. Yeah, dim category, right? So yes, here you don't worry about this. Okay, I'll explain this. We have a a data modeling session. We'll explain it in detail that time. At this moment, don't worry about this. Okay, and okay, category, for this I need to load the another table called product table, because category and product have direct relationship, and the product table and sales fact have relationship. At this moment, please don't worry about it. Just keep this at the back of your head. Okay. So anyhow, I will explain everything is in detail. Now you learned how to load the data from your SQL Server database. It is pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, but it is not always a good suggestion to load your SQL Server data in import mode. Okay, here let's say this is my sales database. Okay, and here you can use direct query. Okay, direct query. Direct query, and click on OK, because the tables which have huge volume of data, for example in your SQL Server, look here. This is your SQL Server. In this, let's assume that the sales fact table have close to 900 million records, or in terms of bytes, right? So you have 100 bytes of data are there in sales fact table, and you want to create a report. Your manager wants you to create the report, and the report should be made available in a day or two. So in that case, if you try to import the data into your Power BI desktop, the entire sales fact table, it will take a lot of time. 900 terabyte or volume of data, or 800 terabytes volume of data into Power BI desktop in your local Power BI system, Power BI desktop, it will take a lot of time. Rather, what you do is, you don't import the entire data locally in your Power BI desktop. Instead, what you do is, you just use direct query mode. So in the direct query mode, what we are saying, the direct query mode, okay, import data in direct mode. Listen very carefully, everything is very important topic. So direct query, one second, let me just, direct query mode. You can import the table or database table into import query, but are some tables, not all the tables. Again, we need to use our common sense, simple common sense. Look here, let's say in my case, we sell, even though the volume of the data is very high, we sell all the products under only 3 categories. So in that case, you can import this table, because the volume of the data is very less. You have only 3 records are there. Hence, you can import the entire dim category table data inside your Power BI desktop itself using import mode. When you use import mode, what will happen? It's something like downloading the data. Entire dim category table data from your SQL server, it will get downloaded into your Power BI desktop. Fine. I have another table called sales. Earlier I discussed, right? So the sales fact table is there. This table has 800 terabytes volume of data are there. So in that case, importing the data from or downloading the data, entire data from SQL Server database to my local Power BI desktop is not the wise decision. Simply what is select direct query in that case. If you have huge volume of data in your SQL Server or Oracle Server or any other database, select direct query. So direct query, what will happen is, in that case, instead of importing the entire data to your Power BI desktop, what will happen is the Power BI desktop, you have something M machine, okay? Yes, Abhinaya, what happened? Are you not able to hear me? Can you all hear me? Hello, can you please confirm? Someone, okay, 1 second. I just wonder. Yeah, everybody's, Tulasi is able to hear, right? No, you can unmute. See, the point is, so yes, others are able to hear. See, can you all confirm at this moment? Okay, can you all hear me or not? So that is what the question now. So unmuting is different thing. Can you all confirm whether you are able to hear me? Tulasi confirmed it. How about Advait, right? Yes, right? Okay, others are able to hear. Okay, fine. See, unmute is fine. When I ask questions, I'll unmute you. Don't worry. Okay, it's not that everyone will be on mute all the time. So here the head count is less. Okay, you're gonna ask. We supposed to use an option disconnect audio. Now I can hear. Okay, now you can hear, right? Okay, fine. Others are able to. So she is Tulasi is given. We supposed to use an option to disconnect audio. I don't know. So no, if you disconnect, how can you hear it? So now anyhow you are able to hear good. Okay, so fine. Okay. See, in case you don't hear for more than 2 minutes or so, right? You can ask me. And what you do is simply, you can leave this meeting, disconnect from the meeting again. Try re-login, or else you can use your mobile phone or laptop. You can use any one of this to log in. Okay, so that and check it out before asking the question. Okay, fine. Now it is. Now we have seen how to connect to SQL Server. We discussed about the connectivity mode, right? The import and direct connectivity mode. So the direct connectivity mode, in case of the volume of the data, is very huge. So Abhinaya, I don't know how much you missed because others were able to hear. Okay, I just cross-checked if I was audible at the. So don't worry, you can watch my recorded video. So I did not talk much. At your level, whatever I discussed, very basic thing. Okay, how to connect to SQL Server. That's all. Okay, and that's it. Okay, nothing else. So I was talking about this one. Yeah. Apart from this, there are two different connectivity types. One is the import And see, that's what I'm paying close attention here. So when should I use import? When should I use direct query? This is an interview question. They'll ask you. Let me see. Tulasi, when the data volume is high, what? When the data volume is very huge, then which mode we use it? Direct query, right? When the data volume is high, we use direct query. When the data set is larger than, what is mean by DQM? When the data set is larger than DQM, data QM, I don't know. So direct query, right? So yeah, if the data volume is too huge, then you can use direct query. So in that case, what we are doing, we are saying is, yeah, this is what I was trying to explain. 1 second. Sorry. See, this is your Power BI. Let's say I just write the architecture, Power BI. Right? In that case, what will happen when you use a direct query? When you use a direct query mode or direct mode, when you use a direct mode, what will happen? This is your SQL Server. Your sales fact table is there here. This sales fact table has 900 let's say 800 terabytes volume of data in it. 800 terabytes volume of data are available in the sales fact table. Okay, and if you use import, what will happen is, let's say here in the get data, if you click on SQL Server, you have an option to use either import or direct query to connect to SQL Server. But if you use import, what will happen is the 800 terabyte of data will get downloaded. It takes a lot of time. This is not the right way of doing it. Rather, what we are doing is we are using direct mode to read the data from the source. So let this table be here. Don't download it. Simply generate a query. So what will happen is you have the Power Query editor, right? You have something called M query engine. You have something called M query engine. So what it does is it will simply generate a SQL query. The Power BI, you have something called mashup query language is there. Okay, we have something called mashup query language, MASH mashup query language. Okay, so what it does is generate the SQL on your behalf, and then this query will be fired against your SQL Server database. So in this case, I have used the sales fact as an example. This query will be fired against this sales fact table. So the query will run for some time against this table. Let's say this query will this query will fetch the data, or it will read only the north region data. The sales fact has all the region data, but we are very particular about north region. This in the north region you have just 1 million records, right? So simply the query will see, you have something, the query is something like this: select star from sales fact, where I just write it here because I have non-IT people. Select star from sales fact where region is equivalent to north. I wanted to, because my manager wants me to create a report for the north region only. So select star from sales where region equal to north. This query will be generated automatically the mashup engine, and then this query will be fired against the place where the data exists. So the Power BI will send this query to this one. What is the size of this query? Hardly it will be 1 KB, right? So 1 KB data only you are sending it here. This query will run against this database, and let's assume that this query will generate the records. Let's say this, it reads north related data, and it the north related data alone, let's say you have something like 1 million records are there. So but this database has how many? Let's say 800 million records are there, but the north region we have less number of data. So it goes and sending the 1 million data back to Power BI will not take much time. Instead of downloading 800 million record, if you download smartly 1 million records, it will not take much time. Hope you understood. It is something like Yeah, so the Abhinaya, the reason why I don't unmute is, okay, a lot of noises are there, the video quality is not good, okay. If you have any questions, you tell me, I will, because in the past video, students were raising concerns, sir, a lot of background noise, okay, that's why, reason why I don't enable, it's not that, no one should ask questions, you can ask questions, and also, you can follow whatever I teach you, because I cover everything in detail, okay. I don't leave any scenario, okay. Why you are drawing here? You want to say something, Abhinaya? You try to draw something. Okay, see, no more distraction. You please, see here. No, sir. Okay, who did this? I don't know. Someone tried to draw something here. Okay, leave it. See, that's why let's not get, see, I do it certain things intentionally in the interest of you people only. Okay, see, somebody is clicking on here and there. Auto accept. I don't know. Somebody is hacking my system. I don't know. Okay, so now I was discussing about this one. See, again. Okay, let me do one thing. Somebody is record on remote control. Okay, let me just. I'll just freeze it. How come without somebody else somebody is hacking my system? Okay, somebody is clicking here and there. Sometimes I ask my website developers to connect to my system. I don't know if they are doing it. Lot of distraction in this session. Okay, leave it. So now, this is what you need to remember. See, it's something like it's something like it's something like that. Okay, let's say a teacher is there at home. Okay, and so, here in a class you have 50 students are there. You have 50 students are there in a class. Okay, so instead of sending the 50 students to a teacher's home, we are sending a teacher to a student's home. Which one is, let's which one is the best option? If I ask you to send all the 50 students to a teacher room, is it in the wise thing? Or if I ask a teacher to go to the classroom and teach the students, which one is the best option? Instead of, see, if you send 50 students, each student have to shell out money, right? For the travel, he has to pay bus fare and everything, right? But instead of sending 50 students to a teacher's place, if you send one person to the student's place, so only one person has to spend money, right? Travel expenses, and traffic is also very less. Road traffic. If you send only one teacher to the student's place, the traffic will be less. Otherwise, the same thing is, the same principle is here. Okay, the Power BI in the direct query mode, it generates this select query. It's something like sending a teacher, select star this query to your SQL Server. Instead of downloading all the data here, you just send a simple query. This query will not take much network bandwidth, because hardly you have 4 lines or 8 lines. Even in a complex queries, you have 10 lines queries will be there. Sending the 10 lines query, maybe it is a 2 KB. It's worth to your source system. This query will come and execute it, and the output of the query is, let's hardly 4 records or 14 records. Sending the just 14 records back to your Power BI, it will not take much time. So this is the advantage of direct query. You just think that way, direct mode. Anyhow, we'll discuss this in detail later point in time. But in the case of the data volume is less, let's say you have just 1 lakh records, you can simply download it to your Power BI desktop. If anything which is available locally in your Power BI desktop, the performance will be faster. Anyhow, we'll discuss this later point in time. Don't worry, in detail. Okay. So now you understood the difference between import and direct connect mode. I'm talking about data connectivity mode, import or direct. What is the advantage of this one? What is the advantage of this one? If the data volume is very high, please use direct query. Don't use import. Okay, let the data be there in the source system. So why should I download, right? I simply send the query. The output of the query only, if you send it back to me, that is enough. That is the whole idea. So now you learned how to connect to SQL Server database. And still you might be asking this, sir, how do I create the tables here? And how to load the data here? That and all we will see it later. I will cover that part also, don't worry, okay? Don't panic, I'm not going to miss any topic, okay? Fine. So now you learned SQL Server. The next one is, we'll see how we can connect to the other data set is like database. We'll see how we can connect database. See, it got connected automatically in my case. First of all, what is database? So database is something like, it's a cloud-based one. Okay, so it is a Microsoft cloud-based solution. The storage, the Microsoft database. Okay, it allows us to connect directly to our data. Okay, using Power BI Desktop to create reports and publish them. See, you have the data stored on your cloud. So we have something called Microsoft product is database. That is that is one of the storage thing, right? So that is where you store the data, and you want to read the data from your cloud and download the data into your Power BI Desktop. Like SQL Server, even in the case of database, you have two options: connectivity mode. One is the import, the other one is direct connectivity mode. So what I do is, since I already connected, it connected directly to this one. Vishal, you enable the video. I could see that you enable the video. If you enable, not a problem, but make sure that mistakenly or not enabled it. So look here, I just show you how to connect to the Microsoft database. It is a free one. Okay, you can go and powerplatform.microsoft.com. So this is where you just connect it. So in this page, powerplatform.microsoft, here you just sign in here. So this signing is simple, right? Like Gmail, how will you sign up, right? Same way you need to sign up here. Once you sign up, you will have obviously the username and password. In my case, this is my username and password. If I click on it, it will connect to my Power Platform, powerplatform.microsoft.com. So here, one second. So or else what we will do is, it seems the interface, the look and feel got changed now. Or else what I do is database, Power BI, connect. Or else database connect. Okay, here I will go to the docs.microsoft.com. So for this, we have this option is available to log in and connect it there. Just give me a second, okay? I just got some urgent call. 1 second, sorry. So 1 second. Okay, here, instead of going here, yeah, I'll call you back, okay? make.powerapps.com. Instead of going to Power Platform, make.powerapps. Here also you can go and sign up. 1 second, it is taking longer time. Yeah, so it connected here. Look here on the left side, you can find database. Right? It's a cloud-based storage. Once you store the data in cloud, it will be secured and it can be accessed, across the globe by your company employees or your peers, right? That is the whole idea of this one. And when you click on this down arrow, it will show you the tables that are available under database. So look here in the database, you have tables. When you click on the tables, on the right side, you will find all the tables. Account, address, appointment, all these tables are available. And now see, all you need to do is just type make.powerapps.com. It will take you to a website somewhere here. On the left side, you will find database. Okay, and if you just beneath this, you will find tables. When you click on this, you will see all the tables here. Okay, and if you go to the right top corner, you will find the settings. In the settings, you will find something like session details. When you click on session details, you will find something like the instance URL. Look here, you need to select only this one, dynamics.com. Right click on it, copy it. See, it's all recorded. You have to try this one, instance URL, but don't copy HTTPS and all. Only try the domain name. This is the domain name, and then come here, and then you need to. I just click on this one here. So in my case, it's something like cookies. Database. When you click on the database, it will ask you the cloud server name or domain name. Okay. Since I already given the server name, it is directly connecting here. Okay, the look here, org C699. See, org C699. So this is the one, right? It is connecting to this one automatically. When you click on this arrow here, all the tables that are available under database, you can see it locally in your Power BI desktop. Look here, all these tables, whatever you see, account, address, appointment, all these things you can see it here. Right, so appointment will be there somewhere down the line. Where is the appointment? So yeah, account, address, appointment. Can you see appointment here? Or you can search it here, appointment. Look here, it is there. Somewhere down the line it is there, okay? So appointment, all the tables, whatever you saw it on the cloud, the same thing now got loaded here for us to choose. Okay, so here I just select account table and click on load. What I tell Power BI is, from the cloud database, we have a lot of tables are there. Don't download all the data. You select only account data table and click on load. I don't want to wait till the data preview window display all the data from here also, like SQL Server, I have two connectivity mode. One is the import mode, other one is direct query. So I'm going to click on import. See, the account table is being downloaded. Since I have used import mode, import the entire data from database cloud to my local Power BI desktop. So that the account table has 10 rows in it here. 10 rows got downloaded here. Okay, on the right side when I click on this, right, this so I can see all the columns that are available in this table. We can see it here. Okay, all the columns that are part of my account table is available here. The next one is I am going to create some chart, pie chart. So here I am going to choose the columns, like we have something called number of employees, something like 1 second. So now I see, now how do I create a visual? I'll show you one more time. See, now we are able to import the table account from my database cloud successfully. The next step is we need to make use of it, isn't it? Or if you go here, data view, and when you select the account table here, look here, account table related. This is the data we downloaded. You can see the data also here. But when you have used direct query mode, you will not see the data here. You can see the data, right, that is available in account table. I just go back to my report view. I want to create a view here, chart here, pie chart. I selected it here, and here in the account table, number of staffs. Number of employees. See, if you can drag and drop it, or you can simply what you can do is you can simply 1 second, I have another column called name. So I remember these two columns. That's the reason why I just type the name directly here. Look here. So you can drag and drop this name into your this visual. Look here, what happened here. This is my pie chart. In the pie chart, I just dragged and dropped name column here in the visual. So you can at this moment you just think I just dragged and dropped, and then the number of employees. We have another column called number of employees here. That also I dragged and dropped it here. Now my pie chart is ready. Okay, number of employees by name. Okay, right. So something like that. Let's these names are something like the company name, and each company how many employees are, something like that. So now we have used the import mode to download the data from database cloud, right? So now what I do is I try the same database connection and I download the data in. See, I can hear some background noise. That's the reason why I mute it. Okay, look here. If I expand this, I'm going to import the account table again. But this time, okay, import is not the correct word. So here I'm going to use direct query mode to connect directly to the cloud. Instead of downloading it locally, this usual has to connect directly to the cloud. So something like you'll get some potential risk. Click on OK, nothing will happen. Two times we imported or loaded the account table. Okay, the first time we use the import mode, second time we have used direct query connectivity mode. So now let us go and check in the data connectivity mode. So what data is available in account 2? Can we see the same? Look here, this table uses direct query and cannot be shown, right? So what I do is I just copy paste the same thing, Control C and Control V I did it, like how you do it in Word document, the same way. 1 second, because I don't want to create one more thing. Same thing, only thing is the table name is different, but you cannot change the table name here. You can just go back here. Okay, you cannot do anything here. So in this case, yeah, so here I'm going to select name from here. Now you select the name from this table and remove this one. Okay, so sorry, I just remove everything here. Okay, so there is no point in copy pasting it. Anyhow, let it be there. I just drag and drop name here from where my account to table. Sorry, I just mistakenly selected the same thing. You need to go to the account to table, because the same name is available in other tables, right? Account to, because if you select the name from the account to table, it goes to the cloud and then fetch the data. Same, the principle, like SQL Server direct connect mode, how it works, right? The volume of the data is very high. You don't have to download it using import mode. So a number of steps. A number of employees. This is from account to, right? I just drag and drop it here. So this is from account to table. This is using direct connection mode. We did not import the data. Here we imported the data. So I demonstrated to import and direct connectivity mode for the Microsoft database. Okay. Now you learned how to. So now the question is, so these tables are already available. These tables were created by someone else. How can I create my own table? So you don't have to worry about it. When you click on new table, you can create it. All these data table like account, other things, right? The project where you work, those tables would have been already created on cloud by the customers themselves. Okay. So in that case, what will happen is, we need to ask them in the database which table should I use it. They will tell you. Okay, so in that case you need to make sure that you are downloading that, importing the table. You need to decide whether I have to import the table from the cloud, or do I have to use the direct connectivity mode. So when will you use which one? Can someone unmute and tell me, so that make sure that you are all, I'm able to hold your attention here. Sorry, can you all unmute and tell me, so when will you use the direct connect mode and import mode, or at least if you type it in the chat room, that is enough. Same thing, the data volume is high, you can use direct query mode, don't use import. If the data volume is reasonably less, then you can use the import mode, right? That's all. So now we learnt about how to connect to SQL Server, how to connect to the database. Okay, it's already it's 10:30, right? We started 9 and we planned for 1 hour. Any 1.5 hours I spent. You watch my today's video and start practice it. Though it appears very simple, you start watch it and practice it. But SQL Server at this moment you ignore it. We'll teach you later how to create table everything, or in the next session we will see it, how to create table everything side by side. Okay, and how to connect to SQL Server, all the things we'll teach you in next session with the data sets, everything. All right, fine. So any questions so far? I just unmute you all and you can ask me questions now. Yeah, allow participants to unmute themselves. Any questions so far? If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. We have an icon, right? You can raise your hand. I'll unmute you. See, if you watch my today's video yourself and ask your question.
Sir, while displaying that direct query mode,
Uh-huh.
so you had put some condition like where clause. But how do we do that? Like you told, like when select star from country where country is equal to Canada
Oh
or
yeah,
something like that.
where right? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That we need to use the transform data. Okay, so in the transform data, let's once you connected to the direct connectivity mode for SQL Server or whatsoever your source, right? So in that case, you go and you can filter it here. For example, I was using account 2. This is the direct in the direct connectivity mode. You cannot. One second, let me just refresh it. It takes a lot of time. Let's wait for some time. So account, which one I used it? Sales fact. 48 days old. I think I have used the direct connection mode for this. Let me just go and check it there. Sales fact, I imported it. It was not into this one. Anyhow, let me just go here and one second here. It takes longer time. So in this one, I'll have to show you with the input. One second, I will import the data. So I load the data with direct connectivity mode to answer to your question. Just let me just go here. So we have an option to switch over from import to direct mode. I don't remember it at this moment on top of my head. Without even writing it here, you can do it. So let me just see did you see that advanced option, right? Yeah, so I just clicked it mistakenly. Look here in the get data itself. Anyhow, I will just import it one more time. Sales fact, load it. See in the get data, okay, sales fact 2 is from my SQL Server database, but we are loading this data in direct connectivity mode, so it's fine. So now what I do is, look here, before I do this, I should have shown you here itself. See here in the SQL Server, here the database name, the server name, sales database, new and advanced options. Here itself we can specify the query, where class, everything you can specify it here. You need to specify it here, okay, where class, everything. So that what will happen is, one is the specific region related data will get loaded into your model. This is your model, okay, because if you see here in the sales fact 2, okay, you will not be able to see the data here because it's connecting to that. And if you, one second, let me go to the transform data. this is my what table? Can someone tell me what table is this? How, in what mode I imported this, loaded this? What mode I loaded this? Can you make it fast? Call got disconnected. It is there, right? Okay. This is direct mode, right? So for example, if I want to say something like filters, okay, and greater than 20 or something like that. Greater than 20. So this is how you can filter it, where clause, okay. Look here, view native query. You have some native query. Look here, where clause. Srinath, I answered your question, right?
Yes, sir. It's just one more query. Like in direct mode, like you told us, like we are not supposed to view the data, right? The data won't be like we won't be able to view the data since we are not importing the data. But for sales fact table, like I'm able to see the data on the screen.
This is in the Power Query editor.
Okay, in Power Query
editor, yeah, you can see the data. Look here, okay. I have another table. This is on import mode and this is on direct query mode. So in the data view only you cannot see that.
Okay, in data view window I won't be able to see it.
Yeah, but still you should be able to see it in your Power Query editor. That's a good question, right? Yes, good observation, very good. So that is how, right, you can filter the data. See what happens here, just like in Excel, how we do the same thing I did it. So I selected the table which I want to apply the filter. So which column that I put it? List price, huh? Yeah, I think list price. If you look here, if you click on this and number filter, or you can say greater than, yeah, this is the one, right? So greater than 30 or something like that. Sorry. So now if you forget it, which filter I condition put it, so look here, that's where it is recording on the right side. This is what we discussed in the last session. Just beneath the applied steps, what are the transfers? In this case, I just created a filter greater than 20. So that also recorded here. Look here, if you click on this line, you can see the M language query here. Okay, list price is greater than 20. This is the logic we use to filter. Filter in the sense, select only the records that are equivalent to 20. If you write it in select query, how will you write it? Select, star from sales fact, where list price is greater than 20, right? This is SQL query, this is M query. But when it comes to end user, we simply go click here, and then we in Excel how we do, right? Same we do, we filter the records. Greater than 20 if you specify, it will get filtered. Some error happened. I think I pressed some key mistakenly. Right, so here you go to whichever column that you want to filter it, right? You can go and filter it there. That's all. And if you want to right click on it, see, instead of I showed you the query here, right? Instead of typing the query here, I should have shown you here. So when you right click on this tab, you'll find view native query, which means this data you imported in direct mode. And see the M language. I told you this is M language, right? The M query or M language, it generates the query automatically. We did not prepare the query, right? So how do I get to, how will I be able to see the query generated by Power Mashup engine? Right click on this tab. Sorry, I mistakenly deleted it. Wait. Okay, we will use the quantity, we will filter the quantity. And what I do is, I just filters greater than 3. See, only anything greater than 3. Right click on it. See, view native query got enabled. For this kind of filtering, Power BI supports the query folding. This is called query folding. See, it generates the query automatically. We did not write the query. SQL query, right? It generates the SQL query. This is where M script. SQL query is also possible. But if I, see, in this case I filtered it. For example, if you want to merge these two columns, after merging the column, can I get to see the query like this? No, there are some limitations. Okay, if you do some kind of all kind of transformations, you cannot expect the Power Query to generate the query like this. So it's a simple transformation, right? We just simply filtered this one. Anything if the quantity is more than 3, display only that one. Yeah, that is what we can see it here, right? So we can see it here. So quantity is greater than 3, that's what we see it here. So to answer to your question, yes, if you apply any filter here in the Power Query editor, and if you go to the specific step and if you click on view native query, this one will get enabled. But some cases this will not get enabled. That we will discuss it later. Okay. Hope I answered your question. So this is how the where conditions or any filtering criteria you can use it using the Power Query editor. Okay. But in the data window you cannot see the data. Any other questions? Okay, since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session. We'll share the recorded video after some time. Okay. I hope